Basically, what I'm saying to you is that God is already showing me my next thing to deal with. Now, this is the case through the entire process. So God's doing this all the time. So right from the denial area, God is doing this. Right? So you remember way back in the beginning, the very first seminar you came to, I don't know if many of you can cast your minds back to that, when we start talking about God, your response to that was, as we discussed the other day, quite negative about that. It was, oh no, we're not going to talk about religion, are we? And all those kind of things. Now, the fact that you were attracted to an event that then confronted you immediately about your viewpoints of God demonstrates that that's what God was trying to expose to you as your first problem. Does that make sense? And you can see why it's your first problem, because you can't get an education from God about love while you have false beliefs about God herself, can you? So you can see why God did that with you, but for the majority of you, that was the case. And that brought up a whole heap of feelings about God, the whole word God and religion and other feelings. And it took you a while even just to get comfortable emotionally with accepting a discussion about God for many of you. And God was leading you to the next thing you needed to address. Now, for many people, they hear the word God and they're out the door. So God leads them to the very next thing they needed to address, and they weren't humble enough to address it. All right? So there's an old saying, you know what it is? You know the one about horses? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And I'm not saying that you are all horses, but but God is trying to lead you to the waters of truth, the next truth that you need to accept at every single moment of your life. That's reassuring, isn't it, to know that? And I've found that's always the case. He's always trying to lead. And there are times when I'm not humble enough and I don't see it for months. And there's other times when you're humble enough and you'll see it instantly. It just depends on the level of humility. But God is actually also demonstrating to you that this is the next emotional thing you need to confront. That make sense?